Just for day one, they'd be first weeks of school too. This is learning how to say, "It was good to meet you," "Pleasure's mine," things like that, introducing themselves and people. So I have the goal and the standard for that. And this class, students will be able to demonstrate their knowledge of welcoming and introducing how to say goodbye to somebody properly, and "It was nice to meet you." And they'll be able to relate that to their everyday Spanish conversation. This is actually what my Spanish teacher did in high school too, and it's really just over review over things. So I would have I'd already have the questions written out, going over review over things. So I would have I'd already have the questions written out on the whiteboard of previous things, and they would go over and translation. So if I said, "My birthday is something," they would translate that, and I'd give them about 5 to 7 minutes to do something like that, and then we'd go over it. So it's just a review from previous things. It could be a review from way in the beginning of the year, or just in grammar too, just little things like that, so that they can just keep it fresh in their minds all the time. Just have leading questions. And then day two, I just didn't go over that. That was more of saying the goodbyes, like I said. Day three is learning about la fecha, which is the date, and los días de la semana, which are the days of the week. So they'd be learning, if you said my birthday is the 2nd of January, they would say mi cumpleaños es el 2 de enero, which means they have to say it backwards. So they would be teaching, and the months out of the year, how to say all those. And this is another activity that I got from one of my Spanish teachers. She was a really good teacher, so that's why I got a lot of my things from her. I still talk to her actually. But one of the things that she liked to do was have little whiteboards in the class, and everybody would have a whiteboard, their own dry erase marker, and a Kleenex. And I would stand in front of the class and go over the vocabulary that we just learned, or the grammar, and they would write it themselves. So it's not just doing the boring lesson of, "Oh, how do you say this word? How do you say this word?" They can actually write it themselves and then put the board up. And I would look around and say, "No, that's wrong." So it's writing this up. It's something different than just the normal everyday thing. Day four, we're learning about the continuations of the day of the week and the birthday. Day five would be the test. First, they would have true or false questions. They would have to write V or F, verdad or falso. This is just like a little matching how you would say the word, which one does it match up with, and they'd have to put the line to each one. This one is a listening activity where I would actually probably do that in the beginning of the test, where I would say something, and they would either choose the answer A, B, C, or D with the response to the question. So that's more of a listening activity so that they understand the conversation. These are short answers, so they'd have to write all of these out into Spanish translation. So that was the end of the first week. And this is going to be one of my favorite, actually, things to do. This is the second week, and it's the beginning of the Dia de los Muertos, which, did you guys ever take Spanish in high school and middle school? Do you ever do the Dia de los Muertos projects, where it's the Day of the Dead? It's a really popular holiday in Spanish, where that actually, in Mexico, they celebrate the dead instead of mourning over them. So the first day, day 6, well, day 1 of week 2, we would be learning the new words, which I would give them this worksheet, and for homework they would have to look up the words, and these are all words that have to do with Dia de los Muertos, which Pan de Muertos, that's a type of bread that they serve for this, and this is all in November, they celebrate this. So these are just some of the vocab words that they have to look up and kind of explain it the next day in class, so that's more independent. Day 7 would be watching a video, and this would be the whole class period, and it's actually a YouTube video, but it's about an hour long, which these would all be 50-minute class periods. And we would watch a video on Dia de los Muertos, the importance, why they celebrate it, all those kind of things. It goes into good detail about how they decorate the skulls and the kind of food that they eat, and just really the whole background of the holiday. So that would be just like a beginning activity, so they would understand the importance of actually doing this and how important this holiday actually is to them. So day 8 and 9 would actually be doing the projects, which they would make their own skeleton of Dia de los Muertos and celebrating the dead, and they would be able to use their own creativity and decorate their skull however they want. They'll also gain a better understanding of the Spanish culture, so they're not just learning well, it's not boring, but just the normal hola and stuff like that. They'd actually get more back into the culture and tradition of Mexico instead of just doing the normal vocab every week. So, and this would also, this is a good, doing projects and stuff, you get to learn more about them individually and as a student and how they create things. So they would create their own skulls, and I'd already have all the materials like pencils, the cutout skulls, feather glue, like anything that they wanted, and they'd have 2 days to work on this all during class. So then they will continue to work on this, and I will also show them skulls from other classes that I've made so that they would know kind of where they were coming from. So checking for understanding, I would put them into groups, go around the room and ask them like how they kind of want to like rough draft how they're going to do theirs. Here's just some of the some pictures that I found online that I could show them too. These are just ones that people use. This is La Catrina, which is one of the most important skulls, and this is the sugar skulls that they make during the holiday, and this is an altar, which they make altars for the dead. So I'd be going into detail with that. Here's some of the cutouts that I provide for them too for class. Like there's like detailed ones, there's ones with no detail on it, so they could create whatever they wanted. Day 10 would be, they would actually present their skulls this time. So this would be just a regular class, and by the end they would demonstrate their creativity and knowledge of the history and tradition. They would present it to the whole class. I actually have the students make like a circular form around so that they could all see, they're all paying attention, they're not just like messing around, they should all be listening to everybody and visually see the project and its creativity. And I'll ask students after they present their skull, like why they chose that, why they decorated it that way. And it's actually cool because they did this during my practicum too, and a lot of students actually get really into it, and they might make their skull. It might not be like a traditional one like I just showed you. They'll make it of their favorite baseball player, basketball player, like favorite actress or something. So it's just cool to see how creative you can get with it. So that would be that whole week. So, and that's it.